Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. This is HD, and welcome to game number 2 between Liquid.Zenio and SlayerS.MMA. We already saw MMA pretty much trash Zenio in the last game, showing why he has such a good win rate against Terran. Also, quick note here, he is actually cloning his SCVs on the initial stacks of minerals. That's something that I talked about in a couple of casts before, and I'm sure you guys already know all about that, but just a quick rebriefer. If you do this, you actually speed up your build order by a couple of seconds, so it's a good idea to do that if you have the extra time to do so. And MMA has the closest mineral patches now stacked up with 2 apiece. Now, this is going to be the Gamecom Plantronics Epic Replay number 6, which, as you guys all know, I am now kind of signed on with Gamecom to help them out and assist and promote their events. And so they're helping me out by bringing out these 3 headsets that they're going to be giving out to you guys. And these are $100 headsets. They're pretty nice. So if you guys want a shot at winning these headsets, just watch this replay. And then, once you've watched the replay and watched it carefully, because it'll ask some questions about it, go ahead and go to Gamecom Plantronics, their website. You guys can actually find the link in the More Info section down below this video. Go to their website, and then register an account and post a comment on the news portal titled Epic Replay number 6. And then answer the trivia questions by sending an email to ESS Agency, or Gamecom at ESSagency.com. And if you answer the questions correctly, that will be based on this replay, then you guys will have a shot to win a $100 headset. And these have been pretty popular thus far, so hopefully you guys get in on that, and best of luck. And once again, if you guys want more information or what the websites and the links are, just go ahead and click on the More Info section down below this video. And that's actually above the comments and below this video. Pretty easy to find that, hopefully. Now, anyways, getting back to this game, it is going to be Zenio over on the bottom left-hand corner. The map is Tal'Darim Altar. And he has gone ahead and opened up with that 15 hatchery once again. MMA also opting to place the barracks along with the depots to choke off the opening into his main, and we'll see a lot of Terran players do that. He's also got 1 gas here, so he's not going to go for the gasless fast expand. And let's see what he uses for that extra with that extra gas. He goes for the factory first, so he's going to once again do a very fast tech opening here, and I would imagine he's going to go ahead and go with reactored Hellions with the way his structure is now set up. And let's see if he goes ahead and throws down a reactor on the barracks. Yes, he will. And the reason why I said that is because he left that opening on the bottom for a reactor core. So he is going to go ahead and open up with reactored Hellions here. And typically, when Terran players open up with the reactored Hellion opening, they're not looking to do damage. I mean, they'll take it if they can, but usually they're opening up with those Hellions just to get that early map control, keep the Zerg at bay, and on top of that, you can actually deny a ton of creep tumors if your Hellion control is on point. You can actually roast up your own Hellion, and this is a trick that some Terran players will do. They'll destroy, or not destroy, but they'll damage their own Hellion in the hopes of killing off the invisible creep tumor underneath. So it's a pretty nice ploy that Terran players can use, and we'll have to see if MMA decides to, you know, recede creep or do any damage with his initial Hellions. There are a couple of Zerglings making their way over to the front right now, and that SCV could be in trouble because the Hellions aren't out quite yet. And this is the thing about building the command center on the low ground. You do run the risk of losing your SCV and delaying construction of that CC, and the SCV is going to go down. That was very, very lucky by Zenio to get that SCV down, and now that command center, I'm sure MMA wishes that he had built it on the inside, because now it's really wasted so much time having that SCV going down and not finishing up that command center, so that sucks for him. He will eventually get it up, but it is going to delay his economy by just a little bit. And now MMA has found the location of the enemy Zerg, and oh wow, look at this! MMA building a ninja command center down to the bottom right. What the heck is going on? MMA is so tricky. He's so deceiving, and he's building a ninja command center at the bottom right-hand location of the map, and this is so weird. You don't see this very often. MMA is going to try to go, you know, sometimes Terran players will build a macro CC and they'll build it inside the base. That's totally acceptable. It's risky, but it's acceptable. This is even riskier. By doing this, it just shows that not only is he going to have a macro CC, but he's also going to have the mining to go with it. And he is just going to try to well, he's going to hope that Zenio is a greedy Zerg player, and he's going to hope that Zenio just stays inside his base and never makes a move out. Because if Zenio does attack, which, it looks like he might be. No, just making 4 roaches. God, if Zenio had, instead of making these 6 drones, if he just made a bunch of roaches right now, I would say he could just win the game straight up. He would just attack through the front door. There's nothing at the front. He could just win the game straight up. But because the map is Tal'Darim and Malter, and because they've got such a long distance between themselves, I can understand why Zenio's only made 4 roaches. He's just made these roaches to ward off the Hellions so that he can spread his creep. But little does he know, there is a little itty-bitty command center underneath the right-hand side of the map. And this is going to pay huge dividends for MMA if it is not scouted out. And so we'll just have to see if it is or not. Zenio moving out with 2 roaches right now. His whole idea here is to regain map control with these 4 roaches, which he very well can do. Let's see, the Hellions do have more range than a roach does, just by 1. So he can micro the roaches away. And in fact, it looks like he can actually kill off all these roaches. Nice play by MMA. And looks like the map control deployed by Zenio is pretty much going to get shut down here as the second roach gets roasted apart, and now Zenio might want to think about falling these roaches back home, unless he's got reinforcements, which he does. Meanwhile, back at home, Zenio getting the macro hatch down. He looks like he's going to stick with +1 Carapace and melee, so I would imagine he's going to go into Zergling heavy play here because he's got Carapace and melee, and meanwhile, MMA just kind of building up in his own base, but really his whole muling operation here, his mining operation down in the bottom right, has still not been scouted out, and this is not good for the Zerg player, who still doesn't have a 3rd yet. He has just now broken down the rocks, and even if he gets his 3rd up, it's going to be way, way behind MMA's. Essentially right now, it's a 3-base Terran to a 2-base Zerg, and right now the only disadvantage MMA really has is his infrastructure hasn't been fully set up yet. He doesn't have that many army units, but as he begins to reap the benefits down in the bottom right-hand corner, that's going to change pretty quickly. In fact, let's look at the income right now. From the Terran side, he is matching point for point how much money the Zerg is making right now. And his mining operation is pretty far behind the Zerg. So I will give credit to Zenio, who really has been droning up pretty hard. That's actually impressive. Look at how many drones he's got here. There's an overpopulation of drones at the 3rd, and he's going to want to go ahead and give those drones a sanitary home, bring them over down to the bottom here as they have a new home to mine. But unfortunately for them, that will be distance mined until that hatchery is up and running. Meanwhile, Aspire is on the way, guys. So Zenio is going to try to take to the skies, and it looks like he's going to go with the traditional Zergling Muta playstyle. But he still doesn't know about this bottom right-hand corner expansion. That's just not going to be good for Zenio. I mean, there's a mining base down in the bottom right-hand corner, and he has not the slightest idea. And this could just be very, very bad. If MMA continues to just play the patient game, playing disciplined, I mean, he really doesn't have to attack. He knows he's ahead in economy. He will just pull so far ahead. And now it looks like he is going to make an attack. This could be risky on his part, but it looks like there's not enough Zerglings. Now the Zerglings actually being used only as the wrapping hand of God to prevent the Marines and Marauders from running away. And the Banelings were able to come up in there despite not having speed, which speed is about to finish, but that was a great play by Zenio. Able to crush that Terran army. For a second there, I was like, that was not enough Zerglings. I don't know why he's doing that, but then it all made sense as his Banelings came up behind and were able to clean up that Terran army. So good play by Zenio. He's going to need every single, and I do mean every single advantage that he can possibly get if he's going to hope to win this game. He's down in a base. He is not that far ahead in supply as you'd like to see, and I don't know, it's not looking good for him at all. He is now grabbing the 4th, though, so that will be helpful if he can get the mining operation set up over there. Meanwhile, 8 Mutalisks on the way, 11 Mutalisks on the way. Scratch that as he gets his infestation pit down as well. So it looks like it's just going to be a straight-up old school bash him, rough him up, Terran versus Zerg game here between these two guys, and we'll see how it goes down. MMA pushing into the center of the field here. He is on creep. He's got to be careful. It looks like we're going to have the same exact playstyle here as the Zerglings try to wrap around, but there were not Banelings there to support, And so MMA ends up getting the best of that engagement. Meanwhile, where are those Mutalisks? They're just hiding back here. I really feel like Zenio made a mistake there. If he was going to send those Zerglings in, I would have thought he would have had something else to back them up with like before. But twas not the case because his rest of his forces were just sitting back here at home, so that was a mistake. And now MMA able to continually destroy the creep tumors. Oh my god! No! That is not what you want to see from the Terran side of things. That was brutal. And all of a sudden now the table's switching back over in favor of Zenio. Zenio gets a full surround on the Marines. He can't even escape into the medevacs because there's Mutalisks in the sky. And even though MMA has his hidden expansion, I would argue now the Zerg has the advantage. Now, what is Zenio going to do with that advantage? Is he going to macro up? Is he going to make an attack into the what he thinks third, which is actually the fourth? I think he should definitely try to attack into this command center and try to pick it off if he can. And he's sending the Zerglings in there right now just to scope out, is there any units there? There is absolutely nothing. He's got to make some Banelings though because he knows Marines are on the way. And here comes the Marines right now. There are Blue Flame Hellions in the mix, and those Blue Flame Hellions doing a lot of damage to the Zerglings, but it doesn't matter. There's just too many Mutalisks, and now Zenio is going to be able to destroy this command center. That was brilliant. Can he get the command center or not, though? It's morphing into a planetary. It's so close to dying. That Baneling detonating next to it almost killed it, but now it's getting repaired, and that was beautiful by MMA to keep that planetary fortress alive. He's just repairing it with a handful of SCVs, but that was absolutely critical. If he lost that planetary, he would have been behind in this game, but he kept it alive. Now there are Burrowed Banelings out here once again. It looks like Zenio, the master of Burrowed Banelings, is going to get detonated once again. He kills off about 11 Marines for 2 Banelings. Oh my god, you cannot get a better trade than that. He's also got a couple of Burrowed Zerglings over on the right-hand side of the map, just to anticipate any command center being there, and that will block the CC. And Zenio, very, very smart, playing proactively rather than reactively, and getting 5 spine crawlers here in anticipation of any potential drops that will absolutely shut down 2 medevacs worth full of Marines and Marauders. That was a very nice play. Zenio now has complete control over the center. He will surround the Marines and the tank. That tank went down almost instantly. And MMA is in so much trouble. He's actually rallied most of his forces down to the bottom right-hand corner. This is kind of weird. He's actually going to siege up. Now, I was saying before, spine crawlers might be good against drops, but they are not good against siege tanks. And now the siege tanks are up on the high ground. But the problem with this play is, yes, he might be able to pick off this hatchery, but now it may end up revealing the command center over to the right-hand side of the map. Overlord's coming up here trying to feign a drop that did not work. MMA did not fall for the ploy, and will he get the hatchery or not? The hatchery is in the yellow. Here comes the rest of the Zerg horde from Zenio. Unbelievably, Zenio playing toe-to-toe with his Terran counterpart, but now the command center has been discovered, exactly what I was talking about, and now the jig is up. But at least MMA got some mining out of this, and one thing to notice, he was sending all of his mules there for a very long time, so he mined a lot out of there, and here comes the Zergling horde. It gets a full surround, Fungal for good measure as well. Unbelievable. Zenio's going to clean this up, ladies and gentlemen, and the orbital command has absolutely nowhere to call home. Home sweet home is not here, and the Zerg is running rampant now. Zenio is in control of this game, absolutely, but MMA is not letting up. He's continuing to pile on units into the center of the field. He may be thinking about making an attack here. I'm not quite sure. Is he going to mount a rescue operation for this orbital command or not? That's certainly a lot of minerals to just lose. It is floating in the air right now, and is he going to mount a rescue operation, or is he just going to siege up the center of the field? It looks like he's just going to play the contain game for now, but really this is not an area to contain. There's nothing to contain here. There's just possibilities for Zerg attacks from all 3 directions, including the original bottom right where the Zerg forces are being held right now. And MMA realizes that he's going to try to save the orbital. Maybe he's going to go in here with his Marines, but he's got to be careful about that fungal, man. There's a lot of infestors there, and one bad fungal growth is all it takes to call it a day here for MMA. He's got a Thor there as well. Will he drop down a mule or something to repair the orbital command? It doesn't look like it. There's actually a Burrowed Zergling just checking out the reinforcements from the front of the Terran base, and this is getting really, really nasty for both these guys. I mean, if you think about it, MMA's not in a terrible spot. He's not out of this game by any shot of the imagination, because he is right up in supply with the Zerg player, but I feel like his positioning is not that good, and that's exactly why he just ate a massive fungal. And looks like the mule and SCV coming in here. They are going to mount a rescue operation after all, and MMA is actually going to land the orbital down on the bottom at the natural of where his orbital was originally. This game is actually really, really crazy. And meanwhile, what is Zenio doing? Is he going up to Hive? Yes, he's got Hive already done. He's going into Broodlords. He's got Corruptors on the way. Meanwhile, oh my god, Marines coming in on the ground. They just ran into Banelings. That was not the win. And now MMA is in trouble. His Thor taking some serious damage there, but it was not picked off. That was a mistake by Zenio. He could have killed off the Thor right there. He's being distracted, it looks like, by a medevac over his natural. And that solo medevac, it was not carrying any units, actually might have saved MMA because that Thor could have gone down, but Zenio decides to pull back everything. And actually the medevac not being a distraction because Zenio isn't even attacking it. This game is just completely wild right now. Adrenal Glands is on the way, that one upgrade that I always talk about, guys. So important for Zerg to get, really helps the Zergs, Zerglings. And speaking of Zerglings, they are blocking this orbital command from landing, and now MMA's got to realize, okay, there is a burrowed Zergling there, or a burrowed something. He's going to have to drop a Comsat and a Marine to deal with that. Meanwhile, he has rallied some troops over to the right-hand side, once again taking up the high ground, and there are just skirmishes happening all over the place, guys. This is reminding me of like a Brood War-esque game. MMA controlling the high ground, overlooking the 4th of the Zerg, and there's no mining, absolutely no mining going on for Zenio right now, who is suffering. As a result, he really doesn't have, these extra drones here aren't doing anything, and MMA doing quite a bit of damage. Zenio's got to mount some kind of an operation here to deal with that ledge, and he is bringing in Broodlords, but it's too late, and the hatchery goes down. It's not good. That's not what Zenio wanted to do, unfortunately for him. And now it looks like MMA taking control of this game. Now moving over to the top side, he's going to find the 5th, which is now the 4th. And there is quite a bit of creep that he's got to work through. He might just blast his way through here, though. Doesn't have much to worry about. Meanwhile, 2 hatcheries being built up to the top left as Zenio tries to replace the fallen hatcheries, which it makes a lot of sense, but those hatcheries up in the left are completely stranded as most of MMA's forces are in the middle of the map, and they're cutting off all potential reinforcements, and now this hatchery will go down. Meanwhile, though, Zenio rolls in with Banelings and Broodlords, and the Banelings, even though there's no Marines there, just crash through the metal, and they destroy almost all the tanks. There is a drop going on behind the 3rd at the same time. There is a skirmishes happening all over the place. Meanwhile, Zenio also coming in with what seems to be Zerglings, Cracklings, in fact, that could drop off inside the main, and Cracklings inside the main, ladies and gentlemen, are absolutely terrifying for a Terran player. They will level buildings with the quickness, and Zenio knows that. That's why he's going for the drop play here. Meanwhile, can he deal with the Marines and the Thor that just cleaned up his 5th or not? Looks like he's got enough units to do just that. MMA trying to send over some Marines over to the top left-hand side of the map to deal with the 2 new birthing hatcheries, but he's got to worry about the Cracklings inside his main right now. Engineering Bay number 1 has gone down. Tech Lab on a barracks may go down as well, and Engineering Bay number 2 has gone down. The Marines are fully upgraded, though, so that's not a huge loss for MMA, and now the Zergling's going to go ahead and burrow. That's going to force Comsats to come out if MMA wants to deal with that. Right now, though, MMA is totally focused on killing off these 2 hatcheries to the top, but he doesn't have enough forces to do that. And those 3 Vikings, I don't think that lifting off right now is what they want to do. They probably just want to stay on the ground. This is just a hectic game by all stretches of the imagination. The Zerglings are just ready and waiting to pounce. A crouching tiger, hidden Zergling, they can pop up at any time they want to. But Zenio, I think, has taken control of his new hatcheries to the top left, and he's making a 3rd one as well to replace that one that fell. So I think for a moment here, Zenio is getting an opportunity to breathe, relax, and rebuild his forces. So for the first time in this game, he may be in control here, and he's also unburrowed the Zerglings. Unfortunately, there are Marines ready and waiting there, so he will have to reburrow those guys, forcing another Comsat. But looking at the supply tabs, MMA is ahead in the supply, and MMA's got a lot of Vikings on the field right now. 4 Vikings. It will not be enough to deal with this many Corruptors, though, so Zenio having an advantage here. He's got to kill off the Vikings first. He can't do so, though, because there's too many Marines on the ground, and the Broodlords, the precious Broodlords, are going down. 2 of them have fallen. 3rd one may end up going down as well, and Zenio, that was his only real hope in this game, was his Broodlord numbers. In numbers, they are strong. One by one, they are weak, and divided they will fall, and now MMA has killed off a significant chunk of those Broodlords. He really doesn't have to worry about those anymore at all. Really good play right now from MMA, who is looking to kill off this hatchery over to the left-hand side, forcing the drones to burrow away, and now Zenio realizing he may as well just use the drones to fight. And he will clean that up, but at what cost? He's lost another hatchery. This is not good. MMA is displaying why he is a dominant Terran versus Zerg player, why he's the Zerg killer, and now switching over to Ghosts as he's got nuclear missiles on the way. He's got 2 nuclear missiles on the way right now. This could be one of the most epic Terran versus Zerg games if he uses a nuke. He just launched EMP shockwaves on the infestors. No more fungal growth for you, and the Baneley's crashing into a tank, and Zenio just calls GG. He raises the white flag and surrenders. Didn't want to deal with any more of that. That was a spectacular game by MMA, showing why he is who he is. Beautiful game, one of the best I've seen in terms of just action all over the map. And I thought Zenio had a fighting chance right there, but things continued to fall apart as the game progressed onwards. Hope you guys enjoyed this broadcast. As I said before, this is Epic Replay number 6. If you guys want to win a free headset, there are 3 of them being given out by Gamecom Plantronics. Make sure you guys support them. You guys can win the headsets by heading over to gamecom.plantronics.com and registering an account, posting a comment on their news post titled Epic Replay of the Week number 5. And then all you guys have to do is go ahead and email the trivia questions to gamecom@essagency.com. All that information can be found in the link down below. You can open that box up. It's above the comment section and below the video. Good luck, guys, and that's it for me. This is HD, signing out.